Hello and welcome to this video. This is all about improving your overall score. Specifically, most useful learning collocations is for reading section. Knowledge of collocation is essential for finding right fill in blank words. So I would recommend you to listen to this before sleep or whenever you are doing some other task until it becomes familiar to you. So here you go.
Face difficulties. Face discrimination. Face a challenge. Face a dilemma. Face a problem. Facial expression. Facilitate the development of factual information. Fair treatment. Fairly clear. Fairly common. Fairly obvious. Fairly straightforward. Fall into the category of be far removed from. Federal agency. Federal government. Federal state. Feminist movement. Field research. Final analysis. Final answer. Final chapter. Final decision. Final outcome. Final phase. Final point. Final position. Final product. Final result. Final section. Final stage. Final step. Final version. Financial affairs. Financial assistance. Financial institution. Financial management. Financial market. Financial problem. Financial resources. Financial support. Find evidence. Find information. Finite number. Be firmly established. First author. First contact. First draft. First encounter. First generation. First impression. First phase. First priority. Flexible approach. Focal point. Focus attention on. Focus on an aspect. Follow a format. Follow a procedure. Follow instructions. Following chapter. Foreign currency. Foreign investment. Foreign investor. Foreign policy. Formal structure. Free access. Free movement. Freely available. Be frequently cited. Be frequently found. Be frequently referred to. Be frequently used. Fulfill an obligation. Full analysis. Full employment. Full information. Full participation. Full potential. The full range of. Fuller discussion. Fully aware. Be fully developed. Be fully informed. Be fully integrated. Be fully realized. Fully understand. Functional requirement. Fundamental aspect. Fundamental assumption. Fundamental change. Fundamental component. Fundamental difference. Fundamental importance. Fundamental principle. Fundamental problem. Fundamental question. Fundamentally different. Further analysis. Further consideration. Further development. Be further divided into. Further evidence. Further explanation. Further information. Further investigation. Further research. Further study. Future development. Future prospects. Future research. Future study.
Gain access to. Gain information. Gain insight into. Gather data. Gather information. Gender. Equality. Gender. Stereotype. General agreement. General approach. General argument. General aspect. General category. General conclusion. General consensus. General definition. General feature. General formula. General overview. General principle. General statement. General tendency. General theory. General trend. Be generally accepted. Generally agree. B. Generally assumed. B. Generally considered. B. Generally found. B. Generally known as by genetic variation. Geographic, geographical, area. Geographic, geographical, distribution. Geographic, geographical, location. Get involved, within, give access, to. Give consent. Give consideration. Give emphasis. Give evidence. Give feedback. Give priority, to. Give guidance. Give information. Give insight, into. Give a presentation. Give an explanation. Give an indication of. Give an overview of. Give an impression. Give treatment. Given information. Given period. Global capitalism. Global context. Global culture. Global economy. Global issue. Global market. Global marketplace. Global media. Global network. Global perspective. Global shift. Global structure. Global trade. Global village. Government. Controlled. Government. Department. Government. Expenditure. Government. Intervention. Government. Policy. Graphical representation. Great accuracy. Great diversity. Great impact. Great majority. Great potential. A great proportion of. A great range of. Great significance. Greater autonomy. Greater awareness. Greater emphasis. Greater equality. Greater flexibility. Greater likelihood. Greatly enhance. Greatly increase. Be greatly influenced by. Be greatly reduced. Grow rapidly. Growing awareness. Growing trend. Guiding principle. Hardly surprising. Have access to. Have consequences. Have limitations. Have potential. Have a strategy. Have a tendency to. Have an obligation. Heated debate. Be heavily influenced by. Hierarchical structure. High concentration. High correlation. High expectations. High incidence. High intensity. High level. High order. High percentage. High priority. High probability. High profile. A high proportion of. High quality. High rate. High score. High standard. High status. High turnover. High unemployment. High value. Higher frequency. A higher degree of. Higher education. B highly charged. Highly competitive. Highly complex. Highly controversial. B highly correlated with. Highly critical. Highly dependent. Highly desirable. B highly developed. B highly educated. Highly effective. Highly efficient. Highly influential. Highly likely. Highly problematic. Highly relevant. Highly selective. Highly sensitive. Highly significant. Highly skilled. Highly sophisticated. B highly structured. Highly successful. Highly unlikely. B highly valued. Highly variable. Historical account. Historical analysis. Historical background. Historical change. Historical circumstances. Historical context. Historical data. Historical development. Historical event. Historical evidence. Historical factors. Historical interpretation. Historical knowledge. Historical period. Historical perspective. Historical reality. Historical record. Historical roots. Historical study. Historical writing. Historically specific hold. A conference. Holistic approach. Homogeneous group. A huge amount of. Human activity. Human behavior. Human interaction. Human society. Human species. B. Ideally suited. Identify factors. B. Ideally suited. Identify factors. Identify features. Identify a problem. Identify a way. Identify an area. Identify an issue. Immediate environment. Immediately apparent. Immediately following. Immediately obvious. Immediately preceding. Imported goods. Imported products. Impose constraints. Impose limitations. Impose restrictions. Improved performance. Increase awareness. Increase dramatically. Increase the likelihood. Increased awareness. Increased competition. Increased demand. Increased importance. Increased interest. Increased level. Increased number. Increased pressure. Increased production. Increased productivity. Increased risk. Increasing awareness. Increasing complexity. Increasing demand. Increasing emphasis. Increasing importance. Increasing interest. Increasing pressure. A. Increasing proportion of. Increasing tendency. Increasing trend. Increasingly aware. Increasingly common. Increasingly complex. Increasingly difficult. Increasingly important. Increasingly popular. Increasingly sophisticated. Independent state. Independent variable. Indigenous people. Indigenous population. Individual behavior. Individual case. Individual characteristics. Individual choice. Individual component. Individual differences. Individual element. Individual experience. Individual interests. Individual item. Individual needs. Individual response. Individual responsibility. Individual rights. Individual variable. Individual variation. Industrial capitalism. Industrial country. Industrial development. Industrial production. Industrial society. Industrialized country. Industrialized nation. B. Inextricably linked to, with. Infinite number. Information. Flow. Information. Gathering. Information processing. Information retrieval. Information sharing. Informed consent. Initial period. Initial phase. Initial position. Initial research. Initial stage. Institutional arrangement. Institutional context. Institutional framework. Institutional structure. Institutional support. Integral part. Integrated approach. Integrated system. Intellectual property. Intellectual work. Intensive study. Interested party. Internal affairs. Internal conflict. Internal control. Internal market. Internal organ. Internal structure. International agreement. International body. International community. International conference. International context. International journal. International organization. International treaty. Internet. Access. Interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal skills. Interpret data. Intimate relationship. B. Intimately connected to, with. Intrinsic value. Introduce legislation. Introductory chapter. Introductory section. Introductory text. Keenly aware. Key area. Key aspect. Key characteristic. Key component. Key concept. Key element. Key factor. Key feature. Key findings. Key issue. Key objective. Key player. Key policy. Key principle. Key role. Key source. Key text. Key theme. Key topic. Large majority. Large percentage. Large portion. A. Large proportion of. Large quantities of. A. Large range of. B. Largely based on. B. Largely confined to. B. Largely determined by. B. Largely ignored. B. Largely responsible for. Later work. Later writings. Lead to the conclusion. Leading role. learning activity, learning difficulties, learning environment, learning objective, learning outcome, learning process, learning resources, learning strategy, legal action, legal basis, legal framework, legal issue, legal obligation, legal position, legal proceedings, legal protection, legal requirement, legal right, legal rule, legal status, legal system, legislative measures, legislative power, liberal democracy, lifelong learning, likely impact, likely outcome, limited access, limited capacity, limited information, limited opportunity, a limited range of, limited resources, linear relationship, literal interpretation, literal meaning, in a literal sense, literary text, literary tradition, little evidence, little impact, little information, little research, little significance, living conditions, living organism, living standard, local area, local authority, local circumstances, local community, local culture, local economy, local government, logical approach, logical argument, logical conclusion, long duration, long established longitudinal study, low income, low intensity, low level, low percentage, low priority, low probability, low profile, main area, main argument, main category, main characteristics, main component, main element, main factor, main feature, main findings, main focus, main function, main issue, main principle, main source, main task, main theme, be mainly concerned with, maintain contact, major advantage, major area, major cause, major challenge, major change, major component, major concern, major contribution, major decision, major difference, major factor, major feature, major focus, major impact, major implications, major influence, major issue, major part, major problem, major reason, major role, major shift, major source, major theme, make estimates, make arrangements, make available, make aware, make contact, make a contribution, make explicit, make policy, make provision, make visible, make a comment, make a distinction, make a living, make a prediction, make a recommendation, make a statement, make a transition, make an argument, make an assessment, make an assumption, make an impact, make an impression, make an observation, make a judgment, male dominance, manual worker, manufacturing sector, marked contrast, be markedly different, maximum duration, mean score, in a meaningful way, media coverage, medical assistance, medical treatment, meet criteria, meet expectations, meet a requirement, meet a target, meet an objective, mental health, mental illness, mental state, methodological approach, methodological issue, methodological problem, metropolitan area, middle income, middle management, migrant worker, military action, military force, military power, military service, minimum level, minimum requirement, minimum standard, minimum value, minimum wage, minor change, minor role, minority group, missing data, modern culture, modern method, modern society, modern technology, modified form, modified version, moral dilemma, moral philosophy, moral principle, multiple identities, multiple sources, municipal government, mutual recognition, mutual support, mutual trust, mutual understanding, mutually exclusive.
Narrow definition. A. Narrow range of national average, national boundary, national conference, national culture, national economy, national government, national identity, national income, national institution, national interest, national language, national legislation, national market, national media, national movement, national policy, national press, national security, national survey. Native speaker, natural conditions, natural disaster, natural environment, natural history, natural language, natural law, natural order, natural philosophy, natural process, natural resources, natural right, natural science, natural tendency, natural world, naturally occurring, necessary information, negative aspect, negative attitude, negative connotation, negative consequences, negative correlation, negative effect, negative feedback, negative impact, negative outcome, negative side, negative stereotype, negative value, negative view. B. Negatively correlated with new initiative, new insight, new perspective, newly acquired, newly created, newly discovered, newly emerging, newly established, newly formed. Next decade, next generation, next phase, normal conditions, normal development, normal distribution, normal practice, notable exception, nuclear energy, nuclear family, nuclear power, nuclear war, nuclear weapon, numerical data, numerical value, numerous studies. Objective criteria, objective reality, obtain data, obtain information. Obtain, A, result, obvious difference, obvious example, obvious point, obvious reason, occur frequently, occur naturally, offer insight into, offer an opportunity, official statistics, once established, ongoing debate, ongoing process, online access, online database, online journal, online version, open access, opening chapter, opening section. Organizational structure, original author, original context, original data, original intent, original meaning, original model, original position, original research, original source, original text, original version, original work. B. Originally developed. B. Originally intended. Overall aim, overall effect, overall level, overall performance, overall picture, overall right, overall structure, overwhelming majority. Paid employment. B. Of paramount importance, particular area, particular aspect, particular emphasis, particular feature, particular focus, particular individual, particular meaning, particularly acute, particularly apparent, particularly appropriate. B. Particularly concerned with, particularly effective. B. Particularly evident, particularly influential, particularly relevant, particularly sensitive, particularly significant, particularly striking, particularly successful. B. Particularly suited to, particularly useful, particularly valuable. B. Partly responsible for, party leader, past research, peace treaty, perceived importance, perceived need, perceived threat. Perform, A. Function. Perform, A. Study. Perform, A. Task. Personal choice, personal circumstances, personal communication, personal contact, personal control, personal experience, personal information, personal interest, personal knowledge, personal quality, personal relationship, personal responsibility, personal safety, personal space, physical activity, physical appearance, physical characteristics, physical contact, physical development, physical environment, physical features, physical health, physical needs, physical presence, physical properties, physical proximity, physical science, physical space, physical symptom, physical world, pilot study, pioneering work, pivotal role, place emphasis, planning, stage, plausible explanation, play a role in, political activism, political activity, political agenda, political arena, political authority, political circumstances, political climate, political conflict, political consciousness, political consensus, political consequences, political consideration, political context, political culture, political debate, political dimension, political economy, political environment, political factors, political identity, political ideology, political implications, political instability, political institution, political leader, political mobilization, political movement, political organization, political participation, political party, political philosophy, political reality, political reform, political representation, political significance, political spectrum, political stability, political status, political structure, politically correct. B. Politically motivated. B. Poorly understood, popular culture, popular media. Pose a challenge, pose a problem, pose a question, pose a threat to, positive action, positive aspect, positive attitude, positive connotation, positive correlation, positive discrimination, positive effect, positive feature, positive feedback, positive image, positive impact, positive influence, positive outcome, positive relationship, positive result, positive value, positive view. B. Positively associated with. B. Positively correlated with, possible consequences, possible explanation, possible outcome, possible source, potential benefits, potential conflict, potential customer, potential harm, potential impact, potential problem, potential risk, potential source, potential value, potentially dangerous, powerful force, powerful group, powerful influence, powerful tool, practical consideration, practical difficulties, practical issue, practical significance. Preceding chapter, preceding discussion, preceding section, precise definition, precise nature, predictive power, preferential treatment, preliminary data, preliminary findings, preliminary result, premature death, present context, present data, present difficulties, present evidence, present, A, challenge, present, A, summary, present, an argument, presidential election, previous chapter, previous decade, previous discussion, previous experience, previous generation, previous knowledge, previous paragraph, previous part, previous research, previous section, previous study, previous work, previously described, previously discussed, previously known, previously mentioned, previously thought. B. Primarily concerned with, B. Primarily responsible for, primary aim, primary care, primary concern, primary data, primary education, primary focus, primary function, primary objective, primary purpose, primary reason, primary research, primary responsibility, primary source, primary task, prime example, prime time, principal source, prior experience, prior knowledge, private individual, private investment, primary concern, primary data, primary education, primary focus, primary function, primary objective, primary purpose, primary reason, primary research, primary responsibility, primary source, primary task, prime example, prime time, principal source, prior experience, prior knowledge, private individual, private investment, profound effect, profound impact, prominent feature, prominent member, prominent role, promote equality, promote the development of. B. Properly understood, proposed legislation, prove successful, prove useful, provide access to, provide assistance, provide care, provide context, provide coverage, provide data, provide evidence, provide feedback, provide guidance, provide information, provide material, provide resources, provide support, provide feedback, provide insight into, provide a benefit, provide a clue, provide a focus, provide a foundation for, provide a service, provide a source, provide a summary, provide an alternative, provide an example, provide an explanation, provide an illustration, provide an indication of, provide an opportunity, provide an overview of, public access, public administration, public attitudes, public authority, public awareness, public debate, public discourse, public display, public domain, public expenditure, public funds, public image, public institution, public perception, public policy, public sector, public sphere, public transport, public welfare, publicly available. Publish research, publish a journal, publish a report, publish an article, published literature, published material, published research, published work, purchasing power. Qualitative analysis, qualitative approach, qualitative data, qualitative method, qualitative research, qualitative study, qualitatively different, quantitative analysis, quantitative approach, quantitative data, quantitative method, quantitative research, quantitative result, quantitative study. Racial differences, racial discrimination, racial equality, racial group, racial stereotype, radical change, radical critique, radical differences, radical transformation, radically different, raise awareness, raise a question, raise an issue, random error, random sample, random variable, be randomly assigned to, be randomly chosen, be randomly selected, rapid expansion, rapidly changing, rapidly growing, raw data, reached a consensus, reached a peak, reached an agreement, readily accessible, readily available, be readily understood, ready access, real issue, receive feedback, receive information, receive treatment, recent decades, recent evidence, recent research, recent study, recent survey, reciprocal relationship, record data, recurrent theme, reduce emissions, reduce stress, reduce the likelihood, reflective practice, reflective question, regional development, regional differences, regional variation, regulatory agency, regulatory framework, related activity, related area, related aspect, related factor, related information, related issue, related problem, related question, related topic, relative autonomy, relative merits, relative status, relatively common, relatively constant, relatively few, relatively high, relatively little, relatively low, relatively minor, relatively rare, relatively recent, relatively simple, relatively stable, relatively straightforward, relevant data, relevant factors, relevant information, relevant issue, relevant literature, relevant material, reliable data, reliable information, religious belief, religious faith, religious freedom, religious group, religious identity, religious movement, religious practice, rely heavily on, remain constant, remain stable, remained unchanged, remained unclear, remarkably similar, renewable energy, renewed interest, report data, report findings, representative government, require consideration, require knowledge, require resources, research, effort, research, evidence, research, findings, research, methodology, for research, purposes, research, topic, resolve a conflict, resolve a dispute, respond appropriately, review a study, revised edition, revised version, rich source, rising cost, risk, assessment, roughly equal, roughly equivalent, ruling class, ruling party, rural area, rural community, rural economy, rural population, rural society. Salient characteristic, salient feature, scarce resources, schematic representation, scholarly journal, scholarly literature, scholarly research, scholarly work, scientific community, scientific discourse, scientific evidence, scientific investigation, scientific method, scientific objectivity, scientific research, scientific theory, secondary data, secondary education, secondary source, security, policy, seek help, seek information, seem appropriate, seem obvious, seem plausible, seem unlikely, seminal study, seminal work, senior management, separate entity, serious challenge, serious consequences, serious offense, serve a function, service, sector, set a goal, set a target, set an objective, set the agenda, set the parameters, severely affect, share information, shared experience, shared meaning, shared values, sharp contrast, sharp distinction, shift emphasis, short duration, short period, show evidence, show variation, show a tendency, show a trend, sign a treaty, a significant amount, have significant change, significant contribution, significant correlation, a significant degree, have significant development, significant difference, significant effect, significant factor, significant feature, significant figures, significant growth, significant impact, significant improvement, significant increase, significant influence, significant interaction, significant number, significant part, significant portion, a significant proportion, have significant reduction, significant relationship, significant role, significant shift, significant variation, significantly affect, b significantly correlated with, significantly higher, significantly increase, b significantly reduced, similar approach, similar argument, similar characteristics, similar effect, similar issue, similar pattern, similar properties, similar result, similar situation, simple majority, simplified version, single currency, single element, single entity, single individual, single issue, single source, single variable, skilled worker, slightly different, slightly higher, slow process, small fraction, small minority, small percentage, small portion, a small proportion of, small quantities, have, social activity, social aspect, social attitudes, social background, social behavior, social circumstances, social conflict, social consequences, social construct, social contact, social context, social democracy, social dimension, social environment, social equality, social exclusion, social expectations, social factors, social function, social identity, social implications, social inequality, social institution, social integration, social interaction, social isolation, social mobility, social movement, social norm, social organization, social phenomenon, social policy, social reform, social relationship, social responsibility, social setting, social significance, social status, social structure, social theory, social transformation, social trend, social welfare, socially acceptable, b socially constructed, socially desirable, socially responsible, socioeconomic status, solar energy, solar panel, solar power, solar system, source, material, sovereign state, b sparsely populated, special circumstances, special emphasis, special issue, special relationship, special status, specific area, specific aspect, specific case, specific characteristic, specific context, specific example, specific factor, specific feature, specific focus, specific form, specific function, specific information, specific issue, specific knowledge, specific meaning, specific needs, specific problem, specific purpose, specific question, specific reference, specific sense, specific type, B. Specifically designed to, for. Standard approach, standard error, standard format, standard method. Stark contrast. Start. A. Process. State explicitly. State sector. Statistical analysis. Statistical data. Statistical information. Statistical method. Statistical significance. Statistical technique. Statistical test. Statistically significant store data. Store information. Strategic decision. Strategic importance. Strategic management. Strategic objective. Strategic planning. Stress level. Striking contrast. Striking example. Striking feature. Strong bond. Strong correlation. Strong emphasis. Strong evidence. Strong link. Strong reaction. Strong relationship. Strong tendency. Strongly agree v. Strongly associated with v. Strongly correlated with. Strongly disagree. B. Strongly influenced by. B. Strongly linked. B. Strongly opposed. B. Strongly related to. Strongly suggest. Structural adjustment. Structural change. Structural element. Structural feature. Structural properties. Subject area. Subsequent analysis. Strong link. Strong reaction. Strong relationship. Strong tendency. Strongly agree. B. Strongly associated with. Subsequent chapter. Subsequent development. Subsequent study. Subsequent work. A. Substantial amount of. Substantial difference. Substantial evidence. Substantial number. Substantial part. Substantially different. Successful implementation. Sufficient condition. Sufficient detail. Sufficient evidence. Sufficient information. Sufficient resources. Superior performance. Support and argument. Supporting evidence. Survey data. Symbiotic relationship. Systematic analysis. Systematic approach. Systematic study. Tacit knowledge. Take initiative. Take precedence over. Take responsibility. Take a role in. Take an approach. Take into consideration. Take on the role of as. Take up the role of as. Target audience. Teaching strategy. Technical aspect. Technical assistance. Technical detail. Technical expertise. Technical issue. Technical knowledge. Technical problem. Technical skill. Technical support. Technical term. Technological advances. Technological change. Technological development. Technological innovation. Technological progress. Test score. Test A. Theory. Textual analysis. Thematic analysis. Theoretical analysis. Theoretical approach. Theoretical basis. Theoretical concept. Theoretical debate. Theoretical framework. Theoretical issue. Theoretical model. Theoretical perspective. Theoretical study. Theoretical understanding. Theoretical work. Think differently. Thinking process. Third party. Thought process. B. Tightly controlled. Top management. Total income. Totally different. Traditional approach. Traditional culture. Traditional form. Traditional method. Traditional practice. Traditional research. Traditional society. Traditional value. Traditional view. Transferable skill. Transmit data. Transmit information. Transport. System. Treat differently. Treat equally. Typical example. ultimate goal, undergo transformation, underlying assumption, underlying cause, underlying principle, underlying process, underlying reason, underlying structure, undertake research, undertake work, undertake an activity, unequal power, unfair treatment, unintended consequences, unique individual, unique opportunity, unique position, b. universally accepted, unlimited access, unskilled worker, urban area, urban center, urban design, urban development, urban environment, use criteria, use effectively, use resources, use sparingly, use statistics, use a format, use a method, use a methodology, use a procedure, use a source, use a strategy, use a technique, use a theory, use an approach, use the analysis, use the definition, use the concept, use the data, useful information, useful material, useful means, useful source, useful summary, valid argument, valuable information, valuable resources, various aspects, very considerably, very greatly, very significantly, very widely, varying degree, a vast amount, have, vast area, a vast array, have, vast majority, vast number, vast quantities, have, a vast range of, verbal communication, verbal language, vested interest, virtual community, virtually impossible, visual image, visual media, visual perception, visual representation, be of vital importance, vital part, vital role, vulnerable group. Welfare, reform, well aware, well designed, b. well documented, well educated, b. well established, well received, Western democracy, Western society, Western tradition, whole area, whole period, a whole range of, wide area, a wide array, have, a wide range, have, wide variation, b. widely accepted, b. widely adopted, widely available, b. widely believed, widely different, b. widely discussed, b. widely dispersed, b. widely distributed, b. widely known, widely read, b. widely recognized, b. widely regarded as, widely shared, b. widely used. Wider audience, wider community, wider context, wider implications, wider issue, wider public, wider society, widespread acceptance, widespread belief, widespread support, widespread use, work effectively, written comment, written communication, written statement, younger generation,